Hi everybody, and thanks for joining this week's episode of the Inquisition. Sorry, I'm running a tiny wee bit late this week. And this week's guest we have Daz Mall joining us, and we also have Casey. Uh, we have, as always, sponsored by Both Storm Wargaming, your first stop shop for all bolts, wars, storms, and gaming in the great town of Leek. And once we get Daz Mall in, then sorry, we're a wee bit tiny bit late. That's my fault. So how are we all doing this fantastic Wednesday evening? I hope we're all well.
Oh,
All right, geezer.
oh
How you doing?
mate!
Let's try to get Daz Mall to jump in now.
And I've realised, right, if you go back and watch all the different video recordings we've done, I'm always wearing the same red jumper. And it must look like I don't have any other colour jumper, so tonight I've gone Larry.
All right, Inferno. Daz Mall, I'll just send you an invite if you want to try that. I think that's quicker. Chop. That's just my dogs. How are we doing this evening, mate? You well?
Yeah, grand. Just finishing up an email, and then you have my undivided attention.
Yeah. So this always happens, man. It always takes forever. This is our second last one of the year.
You know what? I've started doing. I wait until you invite me. Because when you
Yeah.
join the video, it gives you the option to go live. And if you click go live and send a request, but you send a request to me, I think it messes it up a bit. So I just avoid
Whoa,
doing that now. So
right, Simon.
Hello, I don't know why I'm
it's a
so.
bit steamy in your room.
I don't know what the frig it is. Hold on.
All that fresh stoke air pollution.
You
That's
got your
weird.
Dunk's log fire is polluting your house. It's the
Yeah,
toxic
he's
gas
having
cloud
it.
from across the Irish Sea.
He's
That's
having
better.
a yeah, and here he is, the man of the hour.
No, it isn't better. What the frig's happened here?
All right, Daz, how you doing, mate? Thanks for joining us. Eventually,
How's it going?
yeah,
Oh,
not
buddy.
bad, man, not bad. How are you?
Yeah, going steady, Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thanks for joining us, and thanks to everybody who joined us as well in the chat. Make sure if you've got any questions, folks, or anything you want to slag Casey, Simon, or Daz about, not me, then make sure you send in as much abuse as you want through the chat. Simon will, if he's learned how to read this week, he'll try and read it for us as always. And Casey's going to be doing work as he does every Wednesday as well. So
Not
yeah,
every Wednesday.
more or less every Wednesday. We're at 98%. Definitely he's doing work. So, Dad, I hope you're well. Thanks for joining us, mate, tonight. Just jump right in there. What was the first model you painted, and what age were you when you started your plastic track addiction?
Right. Oh god. So age-wise, I'm really like crap at like thinking like how old I was at certain times, but I think it was around like 1999. I think.
Would it be better to ask
Um,
you how high or what colour your mohawk was? Would that be a
yes.
better
No, no,
gauge?
no mohawk at the time. But yeah, it was basically when third edition 40k came out. I started with that box set basically, and I went with the Dark Elder half. So I think my first model I painted was the Raider from that box set.
Cool, cool. And have you, so ever since then you've continued doing it, or have you ever had a like small hiatus? Or did you ever get Battle Masters at all by chance?
Straight in there.
No,
Yeah.
no to Battlemaster. No, not. But no, I haven't. No, not really had much of a break. I'd say there was a point where I was a bit more secretive with my hobby. It's like when I was like when I first got into it, I think I was in an age where it was like cool to do it, and then I got to an age where it was less cool, so I kind of did it secretly.
Yeah.
And then later on in life again, especially with like social media, everything it's become cool again. So yeah, so no, I haven't really stopped. Although some people would say I did.
I look like a ghost. I don't know
You
what's
are a
going on with my
ghost.
camera. Look. I look like I'm ethereal.
Well,
Anyway,
yeah.
You look like that bit where they tried to make the speeder look like it's floating in Star Wars, and you've just smeared Vaseline all over
I
your
don't know
camera.
what's going on. It's really, really weird. Right. So, tell me why AOS is superior.
Okay.
Straight in there. I haven't got long. Straight in there.
How long have we got? No. No. In all fairness, to me, it is. But I still enjoy 40k. Last edition 40k, I didn't play it. I fell out of love with it because I just hated the gameplay of it. But when 10th edition came around, I was like willing to try it again. I'm always willing to go back and try it again. And I'm really enjoying where the game is now. But what I will say is that if anyone says, that plays both game systems, ever says to me, "Oh yeah, do you want a game?" I'll always go AOS. And I just think it's just that slight different play style that I like. I think it's all the bits that maybe other people don't like that I enjoy. So like the double turn is always a big talking point, like that people hate. But I enjoy that. And like wounds carrying over, I really enjoy that. And it's like a Marmite thing, I think, within the Warhammer community. But no, I mean it's all obviously it's all a bit tongue in cheek. The whole Sigma being superior and things like that. But for me, it's my game. It's my shtick. But I'll always have a soft spot for 40k because it got me into the hobby. The largest part of my time in the hobby was 40k focused. And now I'm glad to be back playing 40k again. So.
Did you play the first edition of AOS where it was things like the person with the biggest moustache gets a point and all that sort of stuff?
Yeah.
And how did that go for you?
It's fucking dreadful.
See, I think that was my issue with AOS was they got rid of Warhammer Fantasy Battle and then they bought this brand new game out and then they were explaining the rules on a video. I think it might have been Mini Wargaming that were doing it with the guy from GW, and they were like, "Well, if you've got a bigger moustache than your opponent," and I was like, "What is this?"
do you know what though? Do you know what it was a weird time because, like I say, this was a time where because it's still relatively new, and I was a lot older at this point, and I'd always wanted to get into like the fantasy miniatures, like Warhammer Fantasy and stuff, and never did just because the people that were playing it were like either a lot older than me, and everything was a bit clicky, so it was harder for someone that was maybe a little bit more, say, shy, like I was at the time, and not confident. Being able to just go into people that are older and just be like, can you teach me? It's like it was just like a massive no-no, like anxiety attacks all over the place. So when Age of Sigmar happened, that was my gateway into those fantasy miniatures because a lot of people left, obviously, like totally left the hobby because of it. And everyone was at the same place of learning the new game or coming into it. So it was a perfect point for me to go, right, I'm here now. Like, let's make our own little gamey group thing. I'm in the door. So I enjoyed it for that, but the rules were stupid. No points and everything. It's just like, no, we don't talk about that. AOS 1 never happened.
Fair enough. That's fine. I'm sorry, I'm just walking around the house trying to work out where the best camera angle is. I don't have the lights in here, but I look like I'm ethereal. It's disturbing me.
It's fine. It's fine.
I thought you were taking us on a tour. It's like, hello, Dion Dublin. Where are you taking us to now?
Yeah. Welcome to my crib. Follow me around the house. So, that's more wargaming. I know you do AOS tournaments and you've now launched merch, etc. How did that come about? Where did that start?
So the tournament side of things was just really, well, AOS was the obvious choice for me just because I know it the best, and there were not really that many tournaments, especially like doing what we wanted to do. I mean, a big part of what we've always been about is community driven and encouraging new people to come and join the hobby and have it be as accessible as possible. And so our tournament, we just wanted it to be totally different. Like match play still, like we still like the competitive edge, but we just want it to be able to, to encourage all new people in. So AOS is perfect for that as well. I think it's a simpler rule set than 40k. I think that's a fair statement.
Yeah.
So it all just leaned into that really, and I thought, well, why not? What's stopping us from doing these tournaments? And it was going to be the once, and then people loved it, so we did it the second time, and then we improved things on that. And it's just every year people just want. I mean, we keep including more and more tables, and we can't actually fit any more in the venue we currently have. So if it wants to be grown next year, then next year is next year. The year after that, it's a new venue, unfortunately.
I believe you've got Notorious Nubicron coming to your next one.
Yes.
Your friend of mine, Shane. So give him as much stick as you can.
Trust me. Everybody gets stick from us. I mean, usually it's Ash. Usually Ash will just send around winding people up and making them go and put them off their game and stuff. But no, he doesn't really. He doesn't. We respect people's games, honestly.
He's taking Skaven, so give him as much shit as you want.
I know. I say that I've heard that there's a few people taking Skaven. I don't know why.
Nothing wrong with Ratman. I mean, not that I play AOS or know anything about it, but I've always liked.
Well, this is the thing: is I'll talk about things and reference AOS, and I have to be mindful that you might not know what I'm on about. So I try and
Yeah,
we'll just talk about what if you like.
No, we'll chat to you about anything. It's fine. We'll ask you about your colours of your drapes or anything like that if we feel it's interesting enough. Like, we honestly don't care. Like, the thing is, and Dunk said it and Simon said it. There's enough out there that we'll talk to people. If we don't know, tell us. We're always happy to learn and listen. On that as well, if not about knowing much stuff. Not that I'm dumb, but I am a bit. Flicking through your profile earlier, I saw your few little Lord of the Rings models, and it's something that a friend of mine is starting to very slowly get into. Have you played with that much? Have you dabbled there? Did you get involved?
Yeah. So I play it now and again. It's not too often that I do it, but it's a nice breakaway sometimes. And for me, I think it's one of the best rule sets Games Workshop actually make. To be honest with you, but it's just having. Sorry.
No, I was coughing. Sorry.
I was actually coughing. He wasn't taking the piss. You're fine.
No, that's literally coughing. I've got this flu that just won't leave me.
I got you.
So
no.
I'll jump in on.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I say I don't play it as much as I probably would like, but there's not that many people that are playing it around me. Really, it's
Well, I'll just pick up on something that you said there, that you think it's probably one of the better rule sets that GW have ever put out, and that seems to be like, in a little bit of research I've done on it, seems to be one of the bigger comments that like people make, that it's easier to pick up, it's easier to play, it's much more fun in respect. Why do you think, given that you've played pretty much everything since like 99 onwards, why do you think that sort of stands out compared to like the others? I know obviously one of the big thing is like it's more cinematic in mindset when you've got the Fellowship battling against a horde of orcs or something, but what sticks out particularly for you?
I mean, to be honest, without going into extreme detail of like the rule set itself and how it differs, ultimately what it comes down to is it just seems the way the rules are written allow the game to be as balanced as it can be. So I would say it's a great rule set first and foremost because it feels the most balanced in game, which is really cool. Except from when you're a load of Ents fighting a Balrog that seems to want to set you on fire, but like that's not fun. But that's basically without going into deep like different rules differences and things like that. Ultimately, that's it.
Cool. And
I just want to get the plug in. There's a Lord of the Rings tournament at Boltstone Wargaming, who are our channel sponsors. in Leeds, Staffordshire, and
We've
they
done
go
that.
along with what Daz just said about Lord of the Rings being the best rule set that GW have ever made. There you go. Plug
So,
in, plug done. Move on.
and I think this is a question for both Daz and you, Simon. Actually, given that you guys have been involved in the hobby so much, I dipped out for years and came back, but rules bloat and everything that goes on up here. For me, sometimes sitting down and trying to read like the 40k rules or something is just kind of like, what the fuck am I doing? But how do you retain all of that information? Because like I've got enough going on in work and my personal life, I can't remember what I've gone to get in the shops half the bloody time, let alone what this dice roll means. Just how does that all sort of sit in there and really sort of take hold?
Yeah, man. Do you mean more on the side of like the basic core rules, or army specific, how to play an army, like all of
Absolutely,
it?
any of it. Yeah, just I know obviously it's the core rules can be one thing and a style of play and all of that sort of stuff
Yeah.
is another to be
Yeah.
competitive. But like I say, just trying to remember like it's the shooting phase, your range is 10-inch, something that silly. Sometimes it just
Yeah, I mean, I'm not great, man. I have to check back on those stuff. I have like notes and things like that. I think it's just important to acknowledge and realise that obviously everybody's different and takes information in differently. So there's not a hard and fast rule, man. I mean, the one thing that's obviously helped me is just try and get as many games in as you possibly can, and potentially, ideally against someone that's quite patient as well and willing to teach as you go. Because I think taking a steady pace is obviously going to allow you to take each thing that happens in better, rather than someone that's sort of throwing information at you and the game's very fast paced. So yeah, I mean that's it, and make notes. I mean, I'm awful at that myself, to be honest. So yeah, but notes are always handy. Sometimes I put like post-its like in my book, like my battle tome or my codex on certain pages, just to remember that for next time because I screwed that up last game. But yeah, that's my advice on that.
Just to expand on that before Dunk jumps in, since you asked both of us.
Yeah.
Index card to 40k for the 10th edition, really, really good, really helpful because you can just access your units there. But you've got to remember that I play multiple factions, so I'm always chopping and changing rules. But you just got to remember that even people who are seasoned players, if they're not like tournament players, competitive players, and managed HEMA type guy, you're going to forget stuff. And just take it as it's a fun game at the end of the day. It's not competitive. No one cares who really wins unless you're that guy in the store or that girl in the store. So if you need to do a do-over, if you forget something, I mean, I've got opponents where if they forget to do something, I'll say, "We'll do it now." Or if I forget to do something, they'll go do it now. And it's just repetition, really. The more you play, the more you remember. But you're going to forget stuff. Everyone's going to forget stuff. Even guys that do it on YouTube. I mean, we had Beard on, and he's the first one to admit that they forget rules. And they do it professionally, as it were. So, just take it as it's a fun game at the end of the day. It's not really important. If you forget to do something, you either give it a my bad and I'll remember next time, or sometimes your opponents will just say, "Do you want to do it now?"
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's one interesting.
Just touching back in the paint here, like you paint a wide variety of things. What is your personal favourite to paint?
Oh man. So do you mean like my favourite style? I think to paint or something that I've already painted, like that was my favourite.
If you had to pick one thing to paint, like what do you look forward painting, or is it goes by model for model?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I guess what I enjoy is anything that I can maybe put a different spin on, or something that I can personalise. I try not to paint things as they are, you see everywhere, especially like through Games Workshop, the heavy metal style or the common colour scheme. So whether it's heavy conversions, like turning a whole army Nurgle that isn't traditionally Nurgle is a favourite, or just changing the colour scheme to something a bit more random or not seen so often, is basically what I look for. If I think that would look cool on that particular army or that model, then I'm all in. But yeah, usually I anything that's like, I look at the whole army as well, and anything that's low model count, I don't do hordes. I can't be dealing with that.
Mhm. And I see that you've got a Stormtrooper tattoo on your hand there. Do you have any Warhammer tattoos on you at all?
No, man, no. I was going to, and then Games Workshop upset me too much, so I never did. No,
And what?
I was going to get a Legion of Asgore one, so like one of the later sort of Chaos Dwarf tattoo, because Chaos Dwarfs are my boys. So like I was going to get one of those, and then they stopped doing the range, so I got angry and didn't do it.
You should just get it as like a commemorative piece on you somewhere.
I will. Yeah, I'll put dates on it and everything.
Yeah, definitely. And what are you currently working on this now?
Oh man, yeah. So right now, I'm building another unit for the Nurgluneth for a tournament this weekend. Because apparently I have to take this unit to earn bonus points. So yeah, I didn't really want to have to. Like I tend to build like lists, 2,000 points. I build it. That's my army. It's done. Once it's done, it's done. I don't have extra units that I can swap in and out. If the meta changes, I don't chase it. So that was it for me. My Nurgluneth was done. But this event I'm going to encourages people to like alter the meta slightly, so you can earn bonus points before the tournament begins by meeting certain criteria. And each army, each faction has got a list in 2 columns. One column is you can't take this unit, and the other column is you must take this unit. So it's got, each army has got its own unit you can't take because it's overrepresented in the meta, and one that you must take because you never see it in the meta. So I'm painting up one of the units frantically.
So as someone that doesn't really, sorry, I'm just going to jump in and interrupt the flow here. As someone who doesn't really play competitively but understands like the sort of everyone wants to play the popular units, I think that's a really good idea because it encourages you to think outside the box and to make an actual effort into building a list and not just, oh, well, this one this, so I'm going to play with this.
It's great. Yeah, it's a great way of doing it. I mean, there's nothing stopping you from just bringing the meta list, but you miss out on the bonus points. So it's almost like a different spin on what we do in our events. Do you know what I mean? To try and keep like the hyper competitive, like that out of it.
Yeah.
It's just a different spin on it, and I like it. You know, it's that's hence why I'm going. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. I'm still going to get wooden spoon or something. So watch this space.
So would you say you are more a competitive player or a narrative player? Which play style do you prefer?
I probably bridge it a little bit. Like I always try and I'll always first and foremost get the models and the armies that I like the look of and that inspire me the most first. And then I do enjoy sitting down and trying to make a meta-ish list out of whatever units they may be. Sometimes it doesn't work and it'll never work, but the concept's there, and sometimes it surprises people. Like they're not. It's not a fantastic list, but just the fact you don't see those models very often normally puts people on the back foot, and it's like, you don't know how to fight this. It's usually a massive advantage, especially in AOS anyway.
And just one quick question, because I've got to get back to work now, unfortunately.
Oh.
Before I go, how did you help Ash smuggle that power fist out of Warhammer World?
I didn't help him. I think we've told that story like too many times.
I wanted the other side of it because Ash said that he just told him he was taking it and he just took it, and I'm just wondering whether this was the truth or he just literally stole it.
So it's that's the truth. Ultimately, Ash was quite open about the fact that I'm having this. I think the person that worked there thought he was joking, but obviously he wasn't. And I think if they had actually said to him, right, we're having it back, and actually took it off of him, he wouldn't have put up a fight about it. But it's just the fact that when we left, he had it like hidden under a hoodie, like it looked like a budgie cage, like under a cover that he was carrying out. So
Yeah,
that bit looked dodgy. Like
I often think Warhammer World staff are too trusting. The amount of times I've been in there and I've bought something and they've said, I'm saying, can I have a bag? Oh, you don't need a bag. And it's like, well, you might think I've stolen it. No, we won't think you stole it. I'm thinking, well, I could have just walked out with this then.
yeah, true. It's true.
Right.
No.
I need to go, so I'm going to throw you back over to Casey. And thanks very much for your time. And I'll be tuned into the rest of the live stream while I do some work. All right. See you later, guys.
Cheers, man.
Yeah, bye.
So yeah, back to me. Sorry about that. So, what's that they say? And then the staff came and checked with me that Ash made off with the power fist, and they were like, "Good, fair enough. There you go."
Yeah.
Right. So I flicked through your channel earlier, and obviously I know you do your streams, you do your charity stuff, you do lots of different sort of bits and bobs.
Yeah.
What would you say, having done all of this sort of stuff? I mean, obviously for me, Duncan, Simon, we're all new to it. What would you say is like a standout moment, having started off and gotten to where you are now? What sort of really sort of highlights like a little bit of a progression that you've gone from just doing something for a bit of a laugh to all of a sudden, bang, I'm up here and I'm interviewing Peachy and stuff like that?
Yeah, man. I'd say it's such a cop-out answer as it feels, but like first and foremost, like the community has been like brilliant. Like it's always been about community-driven. So like the fact there's so many people now that I know and talk to, like on a personal level, it's like awesome. So I'm forever grateful for that, obviously, and that's helped things like no end. I think, yeah, like, and obviously without the guys, like, Dasma Wargaming is not just me.
Yeah.
It's my name on it, but like, Ash especially, like, it's like Dasma Wargaming. I mean, I don't think you can mention Dasma Wargaming without mentioning to Lord of Chaos as well. Like, massive part of it. And I wouldn't have even like started doing this seriously if it wasn't for him, because like it started off, it was just a laugh. Like at the beginning of lockdown, we're like, yeah, screw it. Like we're hobbying privately, like video linked. So why don't we just put it out there? Because there might be someone else that wants to hobby and socialize that can't, and maybe doesn't have the people there on the other end like we have that can just jump in and chat with. So if we do it live, it's accessible to anyone that feels like they're on their own as well.
Yeah.
To hobby. So that was really good. And then obviously Rich was there anyway. Glad to have Mr. Grumpy on. And then Lewis came in, and now we've got Mark as well. So we've got a good spread like through. Lewis likes doing a lot of like he's into pretty much everything. So he's got like a lot of the other games. Like I think he plays like Bolt Action, and he's into like D&D and things like that. And so Ash is like mega 40k guy. Me and Mark are more Age of Sigmar, and Rich likes Age of Sigmar, 40k. Blood Bowl, that sort of stuff. So we like cover the whole spectrum of games, really, that especially Games Workshop make. But yeah, man. I mean, it's all I can say is like massively grateful as well. I want to say that right now. Now you've mentioned like doing the live streams and things like that.
Yeah.
So stand-up moment for me though, like wasn't even on my channel, but like the 24-hour live stream thing for charity.
Yeah.
With Miniature Frontier. That was amazing. Just like being asked to be a co-host, to be a massive part of it. I got to I sourced like a lot of the guests for it, which was super cool. And we raised a lot of money for mental health charity Mind, which is always a massive. It's a big deal for me, especially. It's something that I hold quite dear, like mental health, good mental health, and the hobby. We try and do streams on that now and again. But yeah, that's a long-winded way of answering your question, mate. But I will.
No, you know what?
You have to stop me, or I will just waffle.
You know what? We prefer guests that chat. If you were just to sort of give one word answer, me and Duncan's like, oh, this isn't going great. But the more chat, the better. Honestly, we prefer it. And I'm actually going to pick up on something there with the charity stuff you do.
Yeah, yeah.
There, because it's completely unrelated, but me and my mates sort a charity football match out every year in sort of for the CF Trust and for Macmillan Cancer Research. And I know how much of a pain in the dick it can be organising anything charity related, trying to get people to commit to a certain time, a certain date, all of that stuff. And yeah, it's a bit of long work, and I do appreciate obviously the efforts you would have gone through for that. With
Yes, mate. Yeah.
the 24-hour thing, though, that's something that I've always considered doing because I mean it's completely unrelated. But like my mate who passed away, he loved just pissing about and playing computer games, and that was something I always thought of doing is like a 24-hour stream for just playing some games and stuff.
Yeah.
How would that work with you staying awake? Because I'd done it a couple of times, 24-hour stuns, and it messed me up. But trying to do it and not fall asleep for charity, if I failed, I would feel like absolute shit. So how would that sort of feel then?
Yeah, I mean, like the challenge that we set. I mean, if you can call it failed, then I guess I failed. I didn't complete it. But I mean, it was more like that was more like a bonus thing. It's like to paint the 2,000 points in 24 hours.
Yeah.
It was just more like this push ourselves. It's not about completing it. It's about trying it and doing that. But yeah, I started regretting it early hours of the morning.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to give it. I actually got told to go and at least just like have a shower and get into some like fresh clothes, just to try and keep myself feeling a little bit better. I've never slept so long after as well. But yeah, I mean, we had people in the chat all the way through. It was always really busy. Guests on like every half hour, like pretty much. So and all through the night. So that kept us going. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if another one's going to happen this year or not. I'm sure I'll be roped into doing it.
When you were putting all the time slots for people to come in and chat to you and stuff, did you find that you didn't want to put someone in on like the early doors position because having someone jump in at 3:00 in the morning to say hello to you? Was it more that you just sort of had guests from all over the world, so at least then you weren't having to wait for people
mate, yeah. We tried divvying out the slots. So we knew we had a certain amount of time to fill where we would ask people from America and Australia that are content creators, YouTubers and Instagram people and stuff like that, so that you would have them up and on the channel and it wouldn't be a stupid hour for them, and you would be able to get in a whole different audience as well, which is really nice. Just seeing different people in the chat is always quite refreshing. Yeah, I mean the planning was. I mean, luckily, I'm very lucky. Like that, obviously, I came into the coast and I knew quite a lot of people anyway, so I had the contacts there that we managed to get like what I would probably consider like a pretty epic lineup. And everybody agreed to do it, and it just ran smoothly. So yeah, super grateful for that. For sure.
So for people that don't know, you're on the painting phase couches, the casting couches, or the painting phase. How did that come about?
So, well, you're asking me stuff now that I got to avoid any spoilers. No, so basically, I'm going to put it this way: I wasn't invited. I infiltrated. You'll see my video. It'll come out. It'll be out just after Christmas, I think. But yeah, ultimately, it was at their venue, but it was reversed role. So I was interviewing Pat,
right,
in his studio. I hijacked his studio, all his equipment, and his time.
And was it a fun experience being down in? Was it a fun experience being down in their studio? Is it a nice studio?
It is, yeah. No, it's really, 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 really cool. I'm like blown away. Like I'm just sat here, like in my little broom cupboard with like my little cams on boom arms and like little microphones and things like that. And they've just got like this whole vast like lighting and stuff. I'm like, oh man, this is the dream. It's the dream. But yeah, Pat's super nice. I know you've had him on here. I believe.
No, look, we've
Not
got
yet.
him coming on. We've got him coming on in January, and
Okay, cool.
we're still trying to pin Jeff down.
Got
For a day.
you. Yeah, so it was Peachy then that you had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, no, that was really cool. I mean, Peachy's always just been amazing, like to me anyway. And when he left Games Workshop and went the painting phase and that, then I got to like talking with the other guys anyway, and yeah, got a little group there that I can talk to now and borrow their equipment.
And away from Warhammer, what is it you do yourself? Like, work-wise, what is your full time? What pays for your plastic track?
So dull, do I have to say? It's so dull.
Maybe we've all got dull jobs. Don't worry.
Yeah, no, I literally work in an office, and the area of work is actually selling and supplying timber.
There's a market for it, mate. If it pays the bills, it pays the bills.
Basically, it used to be a sawmill, and then that all sort of shut down, and then we just literally just sell timber. So it's not that exciting. There we go.
It's trying to pay the bills. Like, I've got a boring job. I process bloody medical claims for Americans, and if you don't have health insurance in America, you're pretty much dead.
Yeah, I mean, we can't all be like Warpgate and just say, "Oh yeah, I'm just a mega influencer that pays the bills."
Yeah, we're not all Simon. Do you know what I mean? Like, Simon the influencer. We're not all Simon or Ash. I mean, let's be honest. Or even Warpgate Studios. And just touching back on your 24-hour stream, I just assume that you could have just had Warpgate on at any time, because he's always live on Instagram or anywhere. He's always live. I don't think he actually sleeps. Like,
I don't think he's got a job either. I think he just sits on his phone all day.
That's what he does. It's great.
Yeah, just paints Tyrannid, that same one Tyrannid he's been painting the last 4 weeks.
Hey, at least he finishes models. I mean, I'm very ashamed of my Instagram actually, because it sort of dawns on me that actually all of my pictures that I put up are basically work in progress.
Yeah,
it's like it's shameful. Like, so I actually just recently I've sort of built myself like a light box and got some LED lights for it and a little like turntable, and I'm sort of playing around with that. 'Cause it's like, right, if I've invested in that, I've got to finish some bloody models. In this day.
Can't have something half painted spinning around.
Exactly. It's like, oh my god. Yeah. Sorry.
We know that you love Richard. Like, your wife was telling me that when I was up at your house last Saturday. But
oh really?
That's a different story.
Jesus.
Oh, you don't just to bed and goes on stream. There you go. That's what you do, apparently.
Really? Okay, I didn't know that.
Well, that's what Lord Chaos says. So he knows.
He knows. He's the man.
So, with again, looking at your account, you know, it is.
Stop stalking me, man.
I do my research. That's what it is. I like to understand who we're having on, because I don't want to sit here and be like,
that is true. I mean, do you know what? No. I applaud that, because I've never done any research for any interview I've ever done. So, like, fair play to you.
It's when he's liking your posts at 3 o'clock in the morning. That's when you need to start worrying.
Yeah, that means I've fallen asleep on the couch again and have woken up snoring and thought, oh shit, I can't go to bed now, so I better get back on Instagram. But that happens quite a lot, by the way. So if anyone out there is getting likes at 3 o'clock in the morning from me, I'm not going to apologise. I'm bored. So yeah, your Warhammer World visits, your charity work and stuff. You know, you really are active out there, and it's something that I think's good. Like, you know, where you're saying you started off just lockdown as a laugh, and it's gotten to this point. Would you have ever thought that back in 2020, when you were told you got to stay at home, you can't go to work, that it'd ever get to this sort of stage?
No, man. No, to be honest, no. I say I've never really planned any of it. It's always just been something that's organic that's happened. So I've never tried to push it one way or the other. So no, I never really had any expectation for it. And what's actually going on about? Oh
He
yeah,
was
okay,
saying that
thank you for clarifying that.
it's
I
Warpgate that
misread
shits the
that.
bed and then streams.
I apologise. I'm a terrible host. I shall now quit and never do this again.
Thank God.
No,
Although
fuck
I
you.
have started doing that on Warpgate's advice.
Yeah. So yeah, sorry. Would you thought that you'd ever get to this sort of stage, and
No. To be honest, and no, I'm grateful for it. I say Twitch seems to be working really well at the moment. People are enjoying those live streams, so that's going strength to strength now. So I never thought we'd have subscribers for anything, like people actually paying for something. But yeah, thank you as much as I can say. Yeah, it's amazing. But so everybody that follows on here as well, Instagram's an amazing thing for this hobby. If you guys found that, you do all your stuff here primarily, so
Mhm.
you know,
yeah,
is it been really good for that? I don't do a lot of live here anymore.
no, it's saying for us guys, like me and Dunk, it's something that we sort of talk about every now and again. But me and Dunk
Yeah.
started chatting because we both entered an Inferno miniatures painting contest, got drawn against each other. He battered me, but then we just carried on chatting. We were just like, like my way of doing those contests is if I lose, I'm backing whoever's beating me as far as they go, because it's just a nice thing to do. I've been chatting to Simon on it for donkeys as well, and then like the three of us just started doing these, and then it decided, fuck it, let's start getting people on to chat to, because you don't want to hear us three ranting at each other all the time, and let's make it a bit more interesting. Never in a million years would we have thought that the people that we've had on it would come on it with us, like yourself, all the other people that we're getting on Sundays, and that's down to Dunk's determination just to badger people into replying to him. Because if it was me, I'd probably send one email and never bother again. But for us, Instagram it's not the best at times, but it does the job, and it's an outlet, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And I just want to say, I think you guys are absolutely smashing it. So just do keep it up, because I enjoy popping out. I'm not very vocal in chats and stuff, but I do have it on while I hobby and stuff, and it's always a cracking show to tune into. So yeah, I just want to show my appreciation for it, because it's all about the community. Let the hobby be the winner, and obviously this hobby's better when we do it together. So so keep it up. I'm enjoying it.
Cheers, buddy. That's nice words.
As Jesse was saying, we didn't think for in a million years that we would get as many people to say yes as what we did, especially when it came to the likes of Peachy, Graham McNeil, and even Duncan Rhodes. I think that's probably our most viewed one. I think as well, because we do it live. Obviously Simon's working, and last week Casey had an appointment, and I think Simon wasn't well or something. Oh no, lady came, pulled out, and instead of just cancelling, because I know people actually now tune in at 7:30 to watch us, to just keep it going. That's why me and Simon basically said, well, just interview me, and then we had Warpgate on at the end as that kind of cutting cruncher. But I think people are just used to that now, and they look forward to it on a Wednesday, and I think Wednesday was probably the best day, because middle of the week nobody's really doing much. And we are so thankful for people coming on, and now we've got the YouTube channel up and running. We're just trying to figure out now how to actually get all of us on to YouTube at the one time and a guest. So I'm heavily relying on my wee boy as well to help stuff. He's our IT guy when he's speaking to me. It's costing me a lot of mockings this week, so yeah, that's his fee. But we didn't think for a million years that we'd be going like a month, let alone we're fully booked up now until the end of February. We're starting to take people for March now as well.
That's fantastic.
We wouldn't have thought of that when we floated this idea out to the three of us. And as Casey said, this is all Richard, this is all Inferno Miniatures' fault, because you drew me and Casey up against each other, And as Casey said, like, I would always back the person that's up against me, even though I won't vote for them when they're up against me. I'll back them after that. But the way I put my characters in is like, I think I had a guy called Barry, the icon bearer, in his competition in January, and he had a concession speech, and he was doing like propaganda against other person. It's just a bit of fun at the end of the day. You know what I mean? And that's what it is. And the community has given us so much, and for us to do these wee things on a Wednesday and a Sunday is just our part of giving back to the community. Like yourself as well, doing the streams. Like, I'll jump into your Twitch now and again, and if I remember, I'll give you my Prime subscription if I've not used it for Mike Moans or somebody else. Do you know what I mean?
It's always appreciated. I appreciate anyone that just tunes in, watches back, follows, or whatever they can do. There's never any pressure for it. I just, just super appreciative. And I don't think I'm really crap with words, and it's very hard for me to express like that appreciation without it sounding maybe not sincere or
Yes, I get you.
or it's like put on because it's, I don't know, I always feel a bit like an imposter. Do you know what I mean? Like,
massively. Yeah, I get you.
So, I shouldn't be here doing this. Like, I'm just a small time little like hobbyist with some crazy ideas, some crazy friends, and we just like a bit of banter, and we just do it live. So it's like people dig it. That's really great. The fact that I learned as well, like the amount of people that, like, especially like mine and Ash's show that we do, like where it's just literally banter heavy hobby stuff, where it's literally random, and the amount of people that watch it back, like on their car ride home from work, I'm like, you mental, like. Really, you want to? I mean, I get live because it's quite funny, and you can sort of chirp it in the chat and be involved. But listening to it back, where you've got no involvement, is a whole new, like, that's dedication right there.
It's like just watching, like I'd just be like watching a stand-up comedian special on Netflix. That's the way I look at it. I mean, there's no if you could start heckling them, because really you're just heckling your fucking screen at the end of the day. And can I just say, I actually listened back to our Streaming Sunday with Chris Tester, the guy for Black Library does the narration stuff now. I can't believe that he actually outswore me. I can't believe that. Like, within about 5 minutes, he was fucking and blinding, and I was like, oh my god, I need to start stepping up my swear words here, because I think he beat me like 2-1 at one point. I was absolutely... So, just changing total hobby here. I see your Darth Maul. Obviously, you're a bit of a Star Wars fan, like myself. I think you've watched all the Clone Wars stuff and etc. How did you feel when Maul came back?
Mate, I mean, it's always a bit of a touchy one because, like, I don't think that it should have happened. That, like, he shouldn't have like been cut in half in the first place. He was too good for that shit.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a Lucas thing though. Like, the character who has hardly any words and has hardly any screen time ends up being one of the most loved characters. For example, I'm a massive Boba Fett fan. I love Boba Fett. At one point, I was going to name my son Boba Fett, but my wife vetoed that with all the other names I was going to give him. But like, I can understand why Filoni did what he did. But then see the final duel that he had with Kenobi. Brought a tear to my eye. It's like one of the best scenes of any TV show, live action or animation, that I've ever seen. It was just beautiful. Poetry.
Yeah. It's really odd as well, because like most of my favourite like characters are from Episode 1, although Episode 1 is probably considered like people's like worst Star Wars film.
Episode 2.
The new ones, I think Episode 1's got a bit of a...
No, Episode 2, man. No.
I love
what, though? Like, just on Star Wars, like, I never bothered watching any of Rebels or any of the animated stuff, because I sort of looked at it as like, wow, it's obviously a kid's show, isn't it? Star Wars is I'm slowly getting above Star Wars. I watched Ahsoka, I had no clue who had anyone was, so I watched Rebels, and I actually found it was decent. It was actually probably better in parts than some of the other stuff that's ever been put out. But that's just my opinion on it. And yeah, like you say, the lightsaber battle with Kenobi and Maul, it felt like a proper old school samurai film. Mm-hmm. Just a little bit of posturing, a little bit of studying, someone makes a twitch, bang, done. And I thought that was perfect. I think they need to do more of that rather than just everyone swinging lightsabers at each other and having 20-minute fights.
I actually watched a breakdown on that fight because me and my mate were discussing it, and I watched a breakdown video on YouTube a few weeks ago, and the way they were saying it is like Kenobi evolved, but Darth Maul never, because when Kenobi did the Qui-Gon stance that obviously was Qui-Gon's downfall, he's seen Maul not changing his stance to combat what Qui-Gon had done, so that's when he then changed his stance. And ultimately, that's kind of what defeated him. Obviously, cartoon people decided. But for me, like, I'm a massive Star Wars fan, so I'm very late to the Warhammer game, as I say in every single stream, much like my love for Battle Masters.
Two. That's too many. You've done one. You get your one a week. That's it.
Listen, that is what it is. I just need to ramp up. I'm gonna go for 3 next week with Inferno with his Funhouse jacket. Do you play any of the Star Wars tabletop games at all, or is it just?
I've tried finding the time to get into Legion.
Yeah,
I have Legion stuff basically. Started painting it up. Had a few like small games of it. But I'll tell you what, it's just so difficult to juggle everything in like real life, isn't it? Like the amount, and this is probably the one reason why I'm not so like into 40k as AOS as well. It's just because like I realistically, I have the time to paint and play one game, and as it stands, I'm juggling a few like, and then that's not even taking into consideration things like stuff that's not my own personal collection related, like the channel related, like content. Because half the time, like the stuff that I need to find for content isn't a project I'm working on.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? So like,
yeah.
right now I'm actually panicking about it a little bit because I want to do something with it, but like I've got Sylvaneth to get on with, I've got some Corn stuff to get on with, but like I've got the Ravaged Star stuff that Dave sent me from Mini Wargaming, and there's no pressure to do anything, but it's too cool and I want to do something. So I'm like, right, so I need to find time to paint some of that. I need to record painting some of that. I need to edit that and I need to put that out. And that's nothing to do with my actual like playing the game or like, so yeah, I don't know. So I've got that amongst some other games that you just happen to buy as we hobby butterfly our way through life. But I don't know when I'm seriously going to be able to sit down and do it.
I think that's why there's a housing crisis and nobody can buy houses, is because we've got all these 20-year-old young boys and 40-year-old men like myself just buying paints and plastic track that will never ever get our way through. I think it's not a cost of living crisis, it's a cost of plastic crisis.
And it just
Yeah, I'm worried when they start trying to get rid of single-use plastic miniatures and introduce fucking paper stormtroopers and space marines and shit. I'm out then. No, I'm not here for that.
No, they need to bring back the shit like the cardboard cutout Orc Dreadnought and stuff.
I've been getting mentioned quite a lot this now.
Yeah.
Right, Keith, I've been waffling on enough here. On your own, mate. Casey?
Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. I was laughing at cardboard dreadnought.
He passed the baton. Come on.
Yeah, he passed it. Yeah, I was cardboard dreadnought up here now. Sorry, it's fucking just thrown me.
It's all good.
So yeah, I understand what you're saying. Like trying to focus on one game at any one time. Like, I don't play that much. I've got a friend of my missus who plays Space Hulk with me every now and again. He's the one. That's why I brought up Lord of the Rings earlier, because he wants me to try and get into that with him, and it's kind of like, okay, right. I've only got a few things on the go painting wise, but I've still got half a Necron army to do. I want to get the new Kill Team box when that's out, and it's just kind of like, where am I going to fit everything? And that's before life gets in the way, and that's just me streaming once a week or maybe twice, however long, and with life as well. How hard do you find it spinning all the plates at any one time?
It's difficult, man. It is. It's difficult. Luckily, I have a lot of like freedom to do my hobby and stuff. I'm very lucky. So I get to do obviously a lot of streaming quite freely. I've got that sorted, my hobby time, and I try and get at least a game in every month. And it's, I mean, I'm sure it's not as much as this, but it almost feels like I'm at Warhammer World every month.
It looks
I'm
like
sure
that
it's
on your
not.
account. It does look like that
I'm
on your
sure
account.
it's
Yeah.
not. It's not that bad, I'm sure. But no, I say I'm very lucky with it. I get a lot of hobby time, so it's just it's a bit of a balance though.
Yeah. So the follow-up question to that: would you go full time if you could?
Oh, that's a good question. I've not thought about it because it never really feels like I said before. Nothing I ever do is planned. It's all organic, so I don't think about where
Yeah.
the channel's going or what I'm doing. So I have not actually thought about that at all. Would I want to? A part of me says no.
Okay.
Because I still want my hobby to be my hobby.
Yeah. I get you on
And I
that.
feel there's
Yeah.
that extra pressure then that, like, whether I'm feeling it or not, I've got to do it. And at the moment, it's like, if I decide that, I could put a post out saying, right, guys, I'm not streaming for a month. I'm not doing any hobby for a month because I'm burnt out. There's no repercussion, really. I might
Yeah.
lose a few followers or something like that, but nothing you can't recover from, but it's just too much pressure otherwise. Yeah, and to be honest, that's the one thing why I sort of, because obviously people in the hobby, like I imagine a lot of people, and myself included at one point, would have loved the job like within Games Workshop and all this stuff. But then I thought about it, it's like, nah, no, because then it's just it's not my hobby
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah. And it's something, obviously, when we've had guys on that their hobby is their job, like we mentioned with Peach being on, Duncan Rhodes being on, we have Mike Moans on, who's similar streamer
Yeah,
all the time.
yeah,
And I get your sense that it's the argument of a hobby should be separate and it should be something that you use to escape life.
yeah, yeah.
But then there's also
But
the argument that
yeah,
if you do something you love, you'll never work a day in your life.
this is
So,
the thing.
it's that fine bargain, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I think it's the fear right now thinking about it that says no. But like with everything, if it happens organically and I'm put in a position where it's feasible,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe.
Sure. Okay, yes.
Yeah, it really does depend.
I mean, I've probably
And
put you on the spot with that, so I wasn't expecting like 100% answer. Yeah, I'm not saying we've
Oh,
got an
I thought you
exclusive.
were
That's more
demanding I
goes.
do one or the other now.
I'm just
But
going to
no,
jump
it's
in here
always
as well.
go
Sorry.
on.
So, like, my question to you as well, right? So, out with the hobby, and when you're not selling timber, what do you like to do? What else do you like to do to relax? What other
Oh, see,
like
these
things?
are great questions. These are great questions. I never get asked these. It's always all on the hobby, and it's
Yeah.
I've usually got answers for them, or I waffle my way through them somehow. So no. This is all good stuff. So one of my massive passions. This started before the hobby, and I've done it ever since. I'm a drummer
Okay.
in a punk band.
They hear me say that.
Yeah, so that's one of my big passions. That's something else I'm juggling as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're a pop punk cover band.
I like
Do you
that
ever
sound.
watch? Do you ever watch? I fell down that. Like, I used to play drums back when I was younger, when in school and in various
Mm.
bands when I was dabbling. I've came across this YouTube channel called Drumeo. Have you ever watched that?
Yeah.
See when they like. Have you ever come across it, Casey? So
No.
one of the things one of the things that they do is they get a drummer in. So they had your man from Red Hot Chili Peppers, and they play a tune, but they don't play the drum part. And he has freedom to make it. It's called active listening, and
Okay.
he's got then freedom to make up the drum part that he thinks would fit that sound. And they had him playing like 30 seconds to Mars, The Kill, and within about 5 seconds, it was pretty much beat for beat, symbol for symbol, exact same drum part that they had. And they also had on some French Canadian chick, and she was playing some Slipknot song, and she was absolutely brilliant as well. I mean, I love that channel. Do you watch that yourself? Do you watch that yourself, Mo?
Yeah. I do watch those. I watched one with the Megadeth drummer, I think, doing Mr. Brightside, which was hilarious.
Yeah. I just see the way that he was breaking it down, and he was explaining his the history for and taking notes and all that. It just kind of goes to show that all drummers aren't stupid.
I question though how these people have not even heard of these songs they're asked to drum to, because like I'm not into like a lot of this like certain music, but it's like I know the song. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's like I think I saw one. I can't remember what song it was now. I was like, how do they not know that song? I think it was a Nirvana song. And I was like, how the hell was it In Bloom? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I was like, how do you not know that? Especially like if you don't know what the song's called, that guitar riff. Like, how do you not know that? But clearly, there are people out there.
The one for me that I was calling bullshit on is when they had the jazz drummer who said he had never heard Enter Sandman. I'm like, I don't like Metallica.
I know, right? I know.
Like, everybody's heard Enter Sandman. Everybody knows dun, dun, dun. Everybody knows that. So I kind of call bullshit on that. But it's a great channel as well. Like,
it is.
So drumming is another passion that you have then. So do you have your own like drum kit in the house, or is it an electric drum kit, or is it a full kit you have in your house?
I have a drum kit which is always packed away unless I'm rehearsing or gigging with it. But I play guitar and bass guitar as well, so I can play that like around the house and sort of just something to keep me musically entertained, I guess.
So basically, what you're saying is that you're the Dave Grohl of Warhammer miniatures.
I mean, that's pretty cool. Is that pretty cool? Is that pretty cool? I think it's pretty cool. But no, I like to have a dabble in these things. You know, drums are cool, but they take up a lot of room. They're really noisy, and when you play a song, it doesn't sound like the song. So, the guitar allows me to play things that resemble what they actually are.
And do you do much gigging? Is it like every weekend you're gigging, or is it just like every so often?
Yeah, I mean, COVID killed a lot of it. To be honest, mate. We were trying to gig like at least once a month up till COVID. That like shut a lot of places down that we played at, and people just were uncertain about whether they wanted to go back out again. So it's only just started picking up, if I'm honest. We haven't done a gig. I mean, the last time I did a gig was about a year ago now.
Mm-hmm. When you had your drum set up, this is going to sound like such a dumb question, but I have to ask. I ask it to everyone I know who's got a drum kit. Did you get super protective at like Step Brothers? You'd have to leave everything at a certain angle. Your drumsticks would be at a certain angle, and if someone had come in and moved something, would you be, who did you touch my drum set?
Not so much like that, but I'm very aware that it's an expensive bit of kit and it's not easy to replace. So I'm just like, just don't like. People don't screw around with it.
So go on then. That's the other thing. Pop punk covers. All right. Yes. I love the idea of that. What's your favourite ones to cover?
Oh, geez. Okay, so we do some. I don't know. I like Newfound Glory. We do a good Newfound Glory. A couple of their songs. A few Blink-182 ones that are really cool to play, and some Offspring ones that I really like to play too. They're sort of the most fun ones to play. But like ones where you're live, where like they're not so pop punk, but they fit into the genre. Yeah, with association, they're the ones that go down really well. Like ones that win like films and things like that. So like Teenage Dirtbag, Stacey's Mom, Scotty Doesn't Know.
Scotty Doesn't Know. What a tune!
Yeah.
Yes.
And like All Star by Smash Mouth.
Yep.
Like that always goes down like really well, like the cheesy like associated by type pop punk songs, and then you've got the more old school pop punk songs and the skater punk stuff. But yeah, no, it's super fun, super energetic, and I enjoy it. Reminds me of my younger years.
So, would you, considering you're a cover band, right? And this is something that I've always wanted to ask musicians, and I know musicians who like people play guitar and stuff, and they dabble in different songs. But would you go proper outside what you do and make something what it is you do? Like, if I give you an example, would you, in the middle of a set, do a pop punk version of Britney Spears' "Toxic"?
Oh, we've done it. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, no, we've. Oh, mate. It's quite embarrassing. We've done really obscure stuff. So we did a punk version of "The Power of Love"
yes.
from Back to the Future.
Yeah.
We did a punk version of Poker Face.
Quality, yeah.
And what was the other one? We did we've done well, not so punk, but definitely like heavy rock versions of House of Pain, Jump Around, and Eminem Without Me.
Oh, they get crowds going, those ones, yeah.
So yeah, we've done those. We've done those.
And how many people are in your band?
There is, how many of us now? Four. Yeah. Me, bass player, lead guitar player, and rhythm guitar player / singer.
So why have you not streamed your band? Why, you've got all the stuff going. It feels like a missed opportunity.
Honest, mate,
you could do a little...
I know. It's just that running one thing like this Dasmal on Instagram is like enough for me. And I even tried like putting a few things of my band, like just like, oh yeah, this is my other hobby on like stories. And it's crazy. You actually lose followers.
Fair enough.
It's like, really? Like, my band's that bad? Or is it the fact that I strayed away from Warhammer for like a split second?
Yeah.
And that made the decision for you. I'm like, okay, that's a bit drastic, but
I think it's definitely had a turn on this video, because we went from 9 viewers down to 5, so I think there might be some truth in that one. Staying on the music theme, right? I absolutely fucking hate the Beatles, right? How are you pro Beatle or anti Beatle?
Okay. I feel like I should give you the answer that's gonna.
Your honest answer?
Can I just say I think they're overrated?
Yeah, they are overrated, and that's why I hate them. So after a hard day,
I don't hate them, but I mean, they were the sort of like when I first started getting into music, like into actual like playing drums and things like that. Like I was like listening to stuff like the Beatles, Small Faces, The Who, all that sort of stuff. So they're kind of in there as part of like me becoming a musician. So I feel like there is a connection with me and the Beatles, but like, yeah, I would say I used to be more of a fan than I am now. I'm not really anymore. Plus, Ringo Starr does my head in.
So after a hard day,
Ringo Starr. Everyone hates Ringo Starr, but if there was no Ringo Starr, there'd be no Thomas the Tank Engine. So fuck everyone.
That is true. So after a hard day's drumming, a hard day selling timber, and a hard day going live on your streams, what flavour of crisps do you like to kick back with and consume to relax?
What a link!
You see. This question is a common one that I get asked. It's not actually, but I just wish that Walker's still made barbecue flavour, but
Yes!
so I can't.
Yes!
So I can't have that as an answer because they don't make it anymore because they're stupid.
It's like Smith's who did the wee cheese puffs. You get like Smith's bacon fries, and you get the scampi fries, and they always advertise for some reason the cheese moments. They don't do them anymore. But I'm with you with the barbecue flavour. I love barbecue waters.
If I could, it'd be that one. But because I can't, I mean, I do like a chili heatwave Dorito.
You've lost me now.
No, good crisp.
They are good. Especially when you find that one in the bag that's absolutely covered in the powder. Yeah. It's like you get a few. It's like, where's the flavour? And there's this one with it all on. It's like, there it is.
It's like finding that one cheesy What's-It that's just cheese.
I know.
Yeah, there's no What's-It. It's just cheese.
You bite into it. It's just a lump of powder.
Yeah, they've all got one of those. And
are you a Pepsi man or a Coca-Cola man?
Oh, that's just mate. You've pushed it too far now. I can't.
Good question.
You've got to be one or the other.
I know, but I feel like I could lose followers here.
We've already lost 9 today already. I wouldn't worry about it.
I'm a Pepsi Max person.
Yeah, you can't. I love Pepsi Max. Pepsi Max.
It has to be Max. It has to be Max. Anyone that just has Pepsi, that's like what?
Yeah.
It has to be. It has to be Max.
Yeah, I don't like Cherry Max. I don't like any other stupid concoctions that they've made up. Pepsi Max. I occasionally will have a full sugar Pepsi, maybe once or twice a year.
It's a treat, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like when I go back home to Scotland, I'll treat myself to a glass bottle of Iron Brew and then hit somebody over the head with it. Like nostalgia, you know what I mean? It's just what you do. I'm a Pepsi Max. What are you, Casey? Are you a Pepsi or a Cola man?
Coke, but mostly because that's all we would have in the house when I was a kid. My mum smoked, and the only things that she could taste were tea and Coke. So that's all we ever had in. That's probably why my teeth are so shit. But yeah, Coke.
And are you all set for Christmas? Even because we're fast approaching the day Santa likes to empty sacks in people's rooms. Are you all set for Christmas yourself?
I'm ready to receive it.
How have you two made Christmas just sound so fucking disgusting? I want nothing to do with it anymore.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about, Casey?
We're just on about Christmas. I don't know what you're on about, mate. Like, you're the one that's turning it really weird.
That stuff up. Fuck Christmas. No. Wrong ones.
Yeah, no, as ready as I can be, but you know, I just use it as a excuse to day drink. But
yeah, well, unfortunately in Ireland they don't open the pubs on Christmas Day, so you're stuck with your family drinking all day. It's depressing. Yeah, look, I think that's about time for us because I've got a granddaughter who's just running mental about the house tonight, and that's why I was slightly late. She managed to wanchang my keyboard and my earbuds all over my office, and she's tanned my mentals as well. Yeah, look, thanks very much for coming on, Daz. It was absolutely
thank you for having me.
To have you on. For people that don't know, where can they find you?
So obviously, it's just Dasmal_wargaming on Instagram. I think they find me on Twitter and YouTube actually. They're my main three. But I've got like a Discord as well. I've got a link tree on there's a link tree on Instagram, so all my links are there anyway. And so any support I get is much appreciated. And yeah, you need to make sure you anyone that's like watching this or watching this back that don't already follow these guys as well, make sure you do all that jazz. And yeah, don't forget about the Dasmal Wargaming team as well, because there's more than just me. So.
And what about you, Casey? Any final words of wisdom?
I never say anything wise, so no, nothing from me.
And on that inquisitional note, people, thanks for joining again. Thanks again, Daswell, for coming on. Next week is going to be our final show of 2023, where we have Mr. Funhouse, and we'll see if Pat Sharp touched him up Inferno Miniatures for his second Inquisition. Have a lovely evening, and I'll see you next Wednesday, folks. Have a good Christmas if I don't see you before then. Bye-bye.
Cheers, guys.
Love you all.
Take care.